All right, so today, what do we got here? We got we have a really nice piece of Okudo Suita. It's got a couple of distractions here and there. No real skin on the bottom. A bunch of lines. But it's a real nice piece. Got a little bit of a divot over here on the side that I've kind of like relieved for the most part. I got to do a little more lapping here. It's sealed, and leveled, lap flat. Work with it, but it needs a little tiny bit more dressing up. Like I said, this is Okudo Suita. Now you're wondering what's a Suita. All right, well, Suita are stones that come from 3 different strata. You have Tenju Suita, you have Han Suita, you have Shiro Suita. That's those veins. The location of those veins are what they are, and stones from those veins are what Suita are, and that's it. Some Suita, the name Suita, S-U-I-T-A, Su, first 2 letters. It's indicative. You can really see them. Try and roll this, and you see all the renge in there, right? That stuff is awesome. I don't know if you can see the little. Sorry about the color shifting. That's my lovely LED panel. It's on loan. Got this lovely tendency. Okay, right there. See him? Right there where my thumb is. Let me see if I can get something to point a little bit better. Right there. Alright. See those holes? Those are little like holes left by gas escaping out of the rock when it was being formed. Stone goes through the process of lithification. It starts out as sediments. In this case, sediments at the bottom of the ocean. All different types of stuff. It layers down, and under pressure, it gets hot, and then the Earth's crust does this bending, shifting, moving, whatever. So you have these little bubbles. They're getting out, and they got trapped. Then it became stone. Now you got these little holes. So that's one way if a stone you have, could be Suita. Now, like this stone, also has Su, but this is not Suita. It is not Suita because it did not come from Suita strata. Okay. Also has I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's really hard to show the Su in this one. You can see them up there, over where touch the edge a little bit. So to be Suita, you have to come from Suita strata, and a lot of the Suita from Suita strata have Su, but not all of them do. Some of them don't have Su. We call them Sunashi Suita, and they're highly coveted. Those stones are really sought after. So what's the deal with Su? Well, it's holes, right? Some people say, the holes cause you problems because slurry gets in there, and then as you progress in the big particles, they come back out and they cause issues. And now, I suppose that's possible, and I've been hearing about that for a long time. I can tell you that after owning Suita, many kinds, many stones, owned lots of blades, I've not had that problem. And that's with using all types of Nagura, including Botan, Tenju, Majiro, Koma, all types of Tomo, so on and so forth. But, the holes are there. I don't believe they lend a hand to the sharpening speed or anything else. I think Suita are known to be fast when, you have a high quality piece, and I think it has more to do with just, the makeup of the stone. Particle shape, size, abrasive density, so on and so forth. This piece, like I said, is from Okudo. Okudo has been called by some people King of Suita, and I have found that all my Suita from Okudo have been, top flight, good stuff. Can't say that about Suita from everywhere. That Suita from Hiderayama, I wouldn't use it to hold the door open. But some Suita from Hiderayama are awesome. I'm just saying. Right? I have had some less than prime examples from it very young. And truth be told, that you can find good and less than good Suita from just about probably any quarry. Anyway, so I got this nice piece of Shiro Suita I'm using as a Nagura, and building up a slurry here. You can see that I'm not kicking up too much of the base stone. It's a little bit's coming through, not much. You got some of the renge in there, that lotus blossom pattern that's highly coveted. You know, the funny thing about renge is, like, in the world of, like, you know, using the stone, the presence of renge usually indicates a drop in quality. Visually, it's more sought after, so, you know, it's a prettier stone, so people will pay more for them. But, you know, if it's somebody who's, like, really doing, like, the sharpening thing, what they want is a straight up Han or Shiro Suita that's, like, very consistent, no pattern, no grief. And then if it's Tsunashi, then that could be really cool. I'll actually have a couple of them. They're en route, and I'll do a video on one of the Tsunashi Suita then. Anyway, I just want to put this one on camera because it's really nice, and I wanted to kick off maybe doing some videos on Suita, because looking around YouTube and checking out some forums, and the information that passed on by a lot of people is either incorrect or lacking in a lot of ways. You know, the JNet Whetstone game is fraught with all kinds of nebulous, murky bullshit that's been perpetrated over the years, either through by choice or just plain ignorance. But, you know, Suita are the stones that, like, gave the quarries of Nakayama and Shobu, you know, their name. You know, that they're the ones that their reputations are built on. These are the stones that people are, like, really looking for. You know, in the early days, I'm talking, you know, like 1200 AD. You know, people weren't honing razors on super hard stones. They were looking for stones with a certain amount of hardness and a consistency that wasn't available until stones from those quarries showed up. You know, and as time went on and other quarries showed up after the original Hanyama quarries were being worked on, you know, Ohira and Okudo and Shinden, all those locations started producing stones, you know. All kinds of great stuff started coming out of the ground. Somewhere along the line, Suita from Okudo developed one heck of a name. But what's in the name? But Suita from Ohira, Shinden, Nagayama, all good stuff. I think the hit rate of great stone coming out of, what do you call it, Okudo was higher, you know, as far as Suita goes. All the old timers really, when they speak of Okudo and Shinden, it's like listening to somebody talk about Elvis Presley or the Beatles or something. No, seriously. You know, we don't really see too much real Okudo. We see things branded Okudo, but let's just say people like to take liberties with things. Because name recognition sells. Why do you think you see so many Nakayama stones? You think it's an accident? Yeah. Supply and demand. All the quarries are closed. There's lots of rock left over from everywhere laying around. 90% of the stone available all says Nakayama on it. Just a little Common sense and logic tells you something's up there. Anyway, so all I'm doing here is like running the blade back and forth, trying to get a feel for the stone. I've honed on it a couple of times so far, checking it out, seeing how it's acting. I don't know if you can pick it up, but I'm getting a pretty good discoloration in the slurry. Not really doing too much work or using too much pressure, but I am definitely cutting metal here. Pretty fast stone. It's hard. It's not hard like, you know, what somebody might want to call a level 5 JNet, but, you know, it's not Alisado. It's Suita, so it's different. It could be very hard. It'll still be different than an equally hard stone from Tome. Can you see that? You know, there's definitely swarf in here. The honing sensation, stone gets a little dry. My experience with Okudo Suita that has this coloring and this texture, it'll take on some water, but not too much. Not gonna like stay thirsty forever, but in the beginning it's dry, and then all of a sudden it gets kind of this creamy pasty thing you can feel. It feels like the top millimeter of the stone or something is developing some sort of like muddy texture. And that's kind of an accurate statement, because that's kind of exactly what's going on. The stone is taking on water, and the texture and the surface is changing a little bit. It's not just water sitting on top. It's one of the things that people who work with these stones love. It develops this mud. You know, and I use a slurry stone to start it off, but if I was working with a heavier blade, I wouldn't need to do that. Just more pressure from like a counter blade or a chef's knife or something. You get right in there and bring the mud up on its own. But here, got terrible warp in this blade. Trying to do a roll. I haven't tried to, I don't try to hone it, but I haven't started really honing it yet. It's been laying around here for a while. Just grabbed it out of the cuff for this demonstration. Usually I grab my greens wedge, which is over there to my right, but I felt like doing something different. Anyway, the honing sensation is essentially smooth, but not glassy, not like, you know, marbly, and highly polished. If you can get this kind of darkening, like for real darkening, this isn't just like, you know, the slurry is turning that gray color because it's becoming aerated and what have you. This is darkening from cutting metal. You're getting that kind of slurry on a straight razor. You know, not soft iron off of a cami or a chisel or something. You know he has some pretty serious cutting capabilities going on under the blade. Not a high-class cut, but it's a high-class stone. It's funny too, like, the camera's gonna jack up the color, but got this nice like red modeling going on there with the renge, and you got this nice burnt ochre, umber, whatever you want to call that coloring going on over there. Very nice. Yeah, you can see now I don't really need to add any more water. It's just kind of sitting there doing its thing. Alright. I think this is a good first look at this stone. And maybe a nice intro to doing maybe a series or at least a few videos on a couple of different types of Suita. I said, I got a box coming with a bunch of different Suita in it. 2 of them are Sunashi. One is almost Sunashi, whatever that means. And yeah, Gook. Anyway, let's take a look at this. My 4X loop. Got my little Fuji loop. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, this razor literally has been sitting in my cup straight out of the pack that, it came from eBay. And you can't really see it here. I'm going to try and catch the glint, but that was a big wall of rust earlier today. Well, right before this honing. And I'm not really honing, I'm not really working it, but as you can see, we cut into like nice steel and we have like pretty nice mirror going on there. High class piece of stone right here. Not a great cut, but given the fact that there's almost no Okudo Suita around, well, not authentic stuff anyway. I know the sauce on this, so I know it's real. Yeah, I'll take it. Anyway, first look, Okudo Suita.